Welcome back, everybody. You know what time it is. It's time for Eating America. This is the part of the show where we travel across the United States, all 50 states, recreating and trying some of the most iconic dishes that have become part of our culinary DNA as a country. And today, we're not going too terribly far from our last destination. We're going right across the street to visit our good friends in Indiana. And tonight, we are making the iconic Hoosier Pork Tenderloin Sandwich. And what's also great about this video is it's very special because it's a requested video. This one was requested by Lois Hunt, and if you're watching this, thank you for the great ideas. Keep them coming. And also, your name will be in the title, tagged, whenever we release this video to YouTube. So guys, I can't remind you enough, if there's any destinations in this mini-series that we're doing that you want to see me go to and recreate, just comment them below. Again, it might take me a little time to get through them all, but this is going to be an ongoing series, and I look forward to what you guys want me to do. All right, so while I was doing research on this particular sandwich, I realized there's a common critique across all those videos. The biggest complaint in all of those videos was each of the YouTube chefs that I've seen do this were using actual pork loin and tenderloin aren't exactly the same thing. So to kind of cater to the audience that's looking for a proper tenderloin sandwich, here we are with some very proper pork tenderloins. So let's cut to the chase and start making our beautiful pork cutlets. It's time to get piggy with it. There's a very specific process that we need to follow to ensure the right size cutlets end up on our sandwich. So basically what we're going to be doing is transforming these beautiful cutlets into some rather large butterflied sections, like you see me doing here. Ideally, you're going to want to have 1.5 to 2 inches of meat on each side of the butterfly cut. And guys, when butterflying, please do not go all the way through the meat. I usually stop around 3/4 of the way through. And after we have all of our beautiful protein prepped, we're going to go ahead and open up our pork, and we're going to beat this out open face to get the biggest possible pork fillet we can. Guys, you're going to want to try to stick around 1/4 inch thick. Honestly, if you can get it a little bit thinner, that's fine, but you do not want to go paper thin or fall apart because we still have to marinate this pork. That's a very vital part of the process. And once we have all of our pork flattened out perfectly into some sheets, we're going to go ahead and make our marinade. And in this bowl are 2 cups of buttermilk, and to it we're going to be adding in 2 whole eggs. And we're going to mix everything together until it's nice and homogeneous. And these eggs are going to act as a barrier to the pork while it's cooking, making sure it retains all of its juices, because as you may know, pork tends to dry out a lot when it's been fried. And once everything is nice and combined, we're going to add some seasoning. And in this container are a teaspoon of each kosher salt, ground black pepper, and garlic powder. And once everything is nicely combined, we're going to go ahead and lovingly submerge all of our piggies into the marinade. Then we're going to put this bad boy in the fridge covered for about an hour. Alright, and this is the part of the video where you might actually start to hate me a little bit. I did change one thing in this entire recipe. And as you can see right here, I have a completely traditional breading station. In the original classic Hoosier sandwich, you are, again, using the breading station as you normally would, but the final product you're going to put your pork in is crushed saltine crackers. And let me tell you one thing now. I can't get down with that. I absolutely hate everything there is about a saltine cracker. No offense to the people of Indiana. And I can tell you without blinking, I have not eaten a saltine cracker in probably close to 2 decades. Yes, I'm showing my age. I don't like the taste, the texture, or anything about it. So, to keep this kind of cohesive, we're using some nice breadcrumbs. I hope I don't get too much flack for this because I try to keep everything else as traditional as possible. But oh well, you can't make everyone happy. What I did do, though, was season it generously to taste with kosher salt and black pepper. I'm trying to get some of that traditional flavor back into these breadcrumbs. As you know, saltines are a very salty cracker. I mean, come on, it's in the name. And I did check for flavor at least 3 times, and these are perfect. Because I'm not going to be salting this when they come out of the oil. If you properly take care of your proteins throughout, the events of the cooking, they should come out tasting perfect once they're done cooking, whether it's in the fryer or the oven. That's why I don't salt meats coming out of the fryer. They should already be flavorful and perfect before they go in. All right. Now that being said, let's go ahead and make these cutlets. And this next step is going to operate pretty much just like any other traditional 3-tier breading station. The first thing we want to do is pull our pork boys out of their milk bath, shake off as much excess marinade as we can, and then we're going to drag these bad boys through some nice unseasoned all-purpose flour. It's probably about 2.5–3 cups in this pan. The reason why we didn't season it is because of all the extra salt we have at the end with those breadcrumbs. And then, just like you would expect, we're going to drag this through a nice pan of egg wash, which is about 3 whole eggs and about a half a cup of water to make it nice and thin. And then we're going to bury these guys in our breadcrumb mixture, and we're going to shake it really good to make sure everything is nice and coated. We don't want to go too deep with the breading on this because of all the salt. And after we get everything nice and coated up, we're going to transfer them to a clean baking pan, and then we're going to head over to the fryer and make this happen. Alright, and guys, whether if you're using a deep fryer or a Dutch oven or a heavy bottom pot, you want your oil to be heated at 350 degrees. Alright guys, these are pretty thin cutlets, so we're going to put them in one in each pan, and we're going to cook them for about anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. They're thin, so they're probably going to cook very quickly. I'll probably check the temp around the 4-minute mark, and I'll see you then. And about after 4 minutes on 350 degrees, as you can clearly see, these guys are done temping in the high 180s into the 190s. So we're going to pull these guys off after they've drained a little bit, and we're going to repeat this process for all of our beautiful pork until we are completely done. This is really awesome. This is like a schnitzel sandwich almost. There's some definite Germanic roots in this, and I love almost pretty much everything German. So I have really high expectations on this sandwich, and I can't wait to try it. Alright guys, only thing that's left is assembly. And I hope you guys from Indiana aren't too offended by what I did with this. I did try this, one of the smaller pieces after they came out of the oil, and I'm definitely in love with the flavor. This is so delicious, so strong. Alright, so we're going to keep the topping simple because they do the same thing in Indiana. I'm just going to go on the bottom bun with a little bit of that yellow mustard because we are going to need some acidity to kind of counteract the richness of the pork. And of course some homemade pickles that goes on the top, so that way you have a decent layer of acidity going on top and bottom. And it's also going to add to some flavor. Alright, now granted, this is amazing the way it is, but there's a lot more you could do with a sandwich like this. So guys, while I was trying it, I already thought of 3 or 4 different things I could do to elevate this sandwich. Of course, I'm not going to do that now because we're celebrating the food culture of Indiana, and I am in no way going to disrespect their culture. But if you want to see like an elevated take on traditional Hoosier Pork Tenderloin Sandwich, let me know in the comments, and I will try to make one. I picked the wrong piece of meat for this, but alright, so traditionally, the Hoosier sandwich is supposed to be the meat is supposed to be twice the size of the bun. I do have a piece in there that will do the job, but the one thing that I will say is working with the actual tenderloin as opposed to the pork loin, it gives us a little more shorter cuts, narrower cuts, but enough talking, let's get to it. It's dynamite. And then about having this meat be so large on the bun, it's like every bite kind of resembles a different eating experience. Wow. This is a solid experience right here. And guys, if you like this content and you try this out, please thank subscriber and friend Lois Hunt for this, because she actually lives in Indiana and requested this. So here we are paying tribute to Indiana. This is a hit. This is a great idea, and it's honestly not too hard to make. Now, if you're working from tenderloin like I was during the recording of this video, I would not marinate this for any longer than an hour, because that piece of meat that I had was so tender, just from, tenderizing it with the mallet and then soaking it for an hour, everything is just fall apart. It's juicy, it's moist, it has loads of flavor. Guys, as always, Let me know where I should stop next on Eating America. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in a few days with another great recipe. See you later.